Hey guys, this is a video response to Epic RV. He asked the question, why do you continue to stack? Have your reasons changed at all? And we'll get to that. Before we do though, I was just checking. I had to leave for the morning, and when I came back I checked out the comments on my frugal video, and I was impressed. You guys were letting your frugal flag fly here. You can tell that a lot of you guys are passionate about this. And you know what's cool is that, for a while, if you were frugal, you were just basically labeled as cheap. And, there was almost there was a negative connotation to it. And, like I said, economic reality has caused a lot of us to evolve our thinking when it comes to money. And it's just really impressive to see that, first of all, you guys were, more than happy to get this stuff off your chest and say, hey, absolutely, I'm frugal and I'm proud of it. And this is what I do. So that's really good stuff. It's no longer a scarlet letter. We don't have to wear the scarlet letter for C for cheap anymore. So anyway, to get back to Epic's video response, I'm going to just give you a quick short answer for me. The reason that I stack, the only thing that has changed in the time that I've been stacking is the price of silver. That's it. When I look at our economic landscape, really nothing's changed. Okay? It's funny because we had negative economic data this morning, right? GDP came in light, jobless claims were a little bit of a hot number. And, so normally, if the market's functioning normally, it's going to sell off on that news. It's bad news for the economy. Not anymore, though. Just means that the heroin drip's going to keep going. And that's just irritating. That's just not a real economy. And what it tells me is that, we face a lot of deflationary pressures in this country. Okay? We have an aging population. The largest generation in American history, the most successful generation, the baby boomers, are getting ready to retire. Okay? And as they leave the workforce, they're taking good paying jobs with them and a lot of consumption with them. And it's not like they're going to hire, the businesses are just going to hire young people to take their place and give them the full pay. So these are deflationary issues. Deleveraging of households, right? Deleveraging debt, deflationary. The one thing that cracks me up is, let's see, the Fed with their quantitative easing wants to lower the unemployment rate. Okay, so they think that somehow by increasing a company's stock price is going to cause them to hire. Well, that's not the case. The only reason a business will hire is if there's a demand for their products or services. Okay? You can give them all the money in the world, and unless there's demand for their product, they're not going to hire anybody. Okay? How can there be demand for their product if the middle class keeps getting squeezed because quantitative easing is causing commodity inflation? Okay, raising up the prices of fuel for your vehicles, and also for food, and of course, health benefits keep going up, and that eats into our budget every year. So given these things, how is there ever going to be a demand for businesses' products as the middle class keeps getting squeezed more and more? Oh no, by the way, let's throw in, let's let that 2% tax cut expire. Okay, the Social Security tax cut. I get why they did it, but still, that hurts the middle class. Yeah, let's have the state governments who are all hurting for money. Let's see them raise gas tax. Yep, we just had a gas tax increase in Vermont. Oh, property taxes. Yep, they just raised property taxes. On and on and on. All irritating stuff. I made a comment in the in Josh Galt's video, but the state of Vermont, the lawmakers in March, as a joke, and it wasn't funny, but it was a joke. Actually had so many tax increases on the table that they actually made a March Madness bracket out of it. Okay? Ha ha ha. Yeah, squeezing the middle class even more. Okay? Basically deflationary. All these issues are deflationary. So why am I crazy enough to buy silver right in the teeth of deflation? Well, because of what the Fed is going to do to combat it. Okay? There's no question in my mind that the Fed is just going to keep pumping that money into the system, somehow magically hoping that it'll help things. It's not going to. But when that money starts leaving the bank's balance sheets, there will be some inflation. Okay? And it won't be the good kind of inflation either. It'll be the bad kind of inflation. You're going to see even worse food inflation. You're going to see, even worse energy inflation. Okay, all the things that we need will inflate. All the things that we want will deflate. And yes, money will find its way into gold and silver. Okay, that spells a really tough time for middle America. Hey, the poor have their basic needs met. Okay, obviously the American social safety net is very strong, and people have their basic needs met, and a lot of people are fine with that. You know that they don't really strive for much more out of life than that that kind of lifestyle. Okay, the rich are obviously fine, and they always will be fine. I mean, what kind of financial destruction would have to happen for Bill Gates to, be poor? I mean, obviously that's an extreme, but come on, there's a lot of extremely rich people here, and they basically have a lot of loopholes and ways around this stuff that they'll always be protected. But the middle class, we're the ones that get it. We're the ones that get it. And, that is why that's a big part of the reason I stack silver. Yep. Talked about it a bunch of times. I enjoy the insurance aspect of it. If something does happen, hopefully silver has some utility in that situation. But, I feel like I'm better off with it than without it. But that's not the reason I stack. That's just a part of it. You can talk about the industrial uses. And I just can't wait to see what the future brings there. But that's not the entirety of why I stack either. It's really all the above. So, yeah, to answer your question, Epic RV, what's the reason that you continue to stack? I mean, that's it. I just feel like the Fed is basically trapped, and I think they're just going to keep pumping liquidity into the market. And, yeah, that will find its way into silver and gold.